Do you still need a website? Now, I know there's so many different social media platforms out there. We are all on social media, and in fact, you may be watching this clip on social media right now. But the truth is, your website is your biggest asset, especially if you are growing your personal brand, if you have a business. Your website is one of your biggest assets. And actually, my website got me to Mexico, and I wrote a blog post about that. So if you want to learn more, I'll link it somewhere so you can learn more about that. But first and foremost, I'm Ebony. I'm a web designer, so obviously I am advocating for websites, not only because I've seen how it's transformed my own life, but also the lives from my clients. I did not have what some may call a traditional background with web design. Like, I didn't go to a formal school for web design. I am self-taught, more or less. I did take some courses online, but I'm a self-taught web designer. And when I got into this, I got into it because I built my own website. And back then I wanted to be, I was writing about my travels. So I had just left my corporate career in New York. I spent several years working in New York in media and in journalism, and then I just decided I wanted to do something different. So I quit, left the corporate world, and traveled around the world for about 8 months. And so I wanted to blog about my travels and, all the things. And so when you become a blogger and a website, literally that's it. And so because I had built my own website, I started creating content around my travels. But something that I realized I loved even more was actually like the business part of all that, growing a brand, figuring out what's working, what's not working. And so I also at that time started blogging and talking on my website about websites and about the power of websites and different opportunities I was getting because of my website, which also helped me start to get my first few website clients because they could see that I was a credible source because I was blogging and documenting all of this. And I was able to do something a little bit more than what you're able to do on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and things like that. But I was able to really take advantage of the fact that on my website I could create long form content in the form of like a blog and really show people the things that I knew to further prove that I was a credible person and I knew what I was talking about. So a website definitely helps you to build that credibility. And the second thing that I found really powerful was that I could then start to make it easier for people to find my content, because like if you for instance, you find something or someone and you start following their content, you like the things that they're posting, and yet you go back to try and find that post, and sometimes you just cannot, because if there's someone that posts all the time, it's going to be hard to like scroll down on their feed to find their specific post you were looking for if you didn't save it. And so something that I love about having a website is that the content that you create is just on there and you can easily find it because there's a search bar and you can just search the content. And so it makes it super easy to find things. And the other thing that I really like is that it saves you time because you can put all your content in one area. And I know people have talked about the algorithms and things of that sort, but you don't have to worry about any kind of algorithms when you're posting content on your own website. And the other thing is that it saves you time. So I always think about this when I think about time. This specific story is because, so when I did this 8-month trip around the world, I went to Bali and I was there for more or less like a month or so. But anyway, it was a fantastic trip, had a lot of fun. And I was posting content on Instagram at the time, just like little bits that, of the time in Bali on the gram. And so there were people that knew I went to Bali. So when those people were ready to go or ready to plan their trip, they reached out to me and asked me questions because they knew that I went. And at that time, I did not have my website. However, I was starting to, do the things and put all this together. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I had to tell you about this really cool thing that I just created. So I created a website template homepage just for you because I know how important it is to get your website up and running. So I made it super easy for you to get started today. So just click the link below and download yours today. And now back to the show. And so the first person that asked me, I remember I created this email. And well, first I asked them what their email was, and then I wrote back and I created this long email of like all the recommendations that I had for this trip, right? And so they're like, oh my God, it was so helpful. And they had a great time. Literally, like, I don't even know the exact timeline because it was so long ago. I guess I could look it up on my computer to really give you the details. But literally, maybe like a couple weeks later or something like that, another friend who didn't have any connection to that other friend reached out, said the same thing. Hey, I'm going to Bali. I know you went to Bali. Do you have any recommendations? Literally, same process. What's your email? Let me copy and paste this information I sent to another friend and send it to you. But also the other thing I had to do was search in my email from that last email and continue to, do the same process. And I did that for like maybe another time or two after that until I was like, okay, wait, we've got to have a better system because this is taking too much of my time to go back and forth, get someone's email, find the old email, copy and paste the information, and then send them. And I was thinking, I need to utilize this blog, right? Because it was around the time that I was launching and starting to create content on this blog. And so I was like, I need to put this on a blog because it will save me time because all of this content will live in one place. And then I can just send them a link and they can go there. Or I can tell them to go to my website and they can search and find it. And that's what I did. And it did save me a lot of time. And then the other thing too that I started to think about was something bigger than just the people that were contacting me because they knew me, but anyone on the internet could search that content and potentially find it based on certain keywords that I use in that post. That's a whole nother topic, which we'll revisit later on in these videos. But that's just something to keep in mind, is that it will save you a lot of time and people can easily find your content when you do have it on your website. And then the last thing is that it can be your best employee. And what I mean by that is if you are selling products or services and you have that on your website, you can also start to give information. So for instance, if you realize while you're selling or talking to different customers that there are people that are asking the same question, you can answer that question on your website, So for instance, something that people ask me a lot is, what's the best platform? Like literally it's one of the most asked questions other than, do I need a website? Which is why I'm creating this video right now. And the platform that I like is Showit. And so what I started to do was talk about Showit on my website and why it's a good platform. And I have several posts about that. And so it's nice because then I can always refer back to those as a resource for someone. So if you are selling something, let's just say you have a digital product or you're selling a course and people have questions about, the course content, or is that the right course for them based on X, Y, and Z. If you get this question often, there are some obviously that you're not always going to have the answer for, be able to answer it generally because everyone's situation is unique. But if you're getting a similar kind of question most of the time, you can start to answer those questions. And then your website almost becomes like your customer service person because it's just such a great spot that has so many resourceful information and has information about you, your products, what you sell. It can literally be an all-in-one place. So I am a huge advocate for websites because it has helped me a lot, and I know that it can help you as well. If you are thinking about getting a website, stop thinking about it and just do it. And if you need some help while you're on this website journey, I'd be more than happy to help you. So send me a message. My website is ebonytravels.com. And I'd love to hear from you and hear about your project and help you bring that to fruition. Or if you already have a website, or if you needed like a brand refresh, send me a message at ebonytravels.com and would love to work with you.